Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co-host, Jordan, and today we're going to be talking about the new Mythic Legions wave, Rise of the Beasts, along with the Dragon, and maybe a little bit of a recap of LegionsCon, because Jordan and I were both there. Hopefully you all saw us. If not, I'm planning on being there next year. We'll see if we can convince Jordan. We've got a year to convince him, though. Some of you, it was great
I
to
had a very
see.
good time, Dakota, so
Good.
it wouldn't take much persuasion. I had a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. No, I think it's the best convention I've ever been to by
hmm
far. I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, but I almost would rather save my money to go to LegionsCon. So
hmm
that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I could see some people, if you want to go see celebrities, they're probably going to be
hmm
more at San Diego, but I'd rather see cool
Well,
toys.
yeah, I think with the Legions Con, it's cool how specific it is. I mean, there's other
Right.
stuff within that, but it is the focus of Legions. And as we've said before, with some of those bigger cons, it gets almost like over commercialized, and like
Yeah, very
half of it is
corporate.
people selling energy drinks and stuff. And
Right.
I love energy drinks, but I'm there for the nerd stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, I get
Yeah.
you.
So we do have a giveaway thanks to one of our listeners at LegionsCon. Gave us a couple, so this isn't our only one. We'll do another one later on. But we're going to be giving away Illigar, he's one of my favorite skeletons. I really like the armor on him. I know
hmm
some people aren't as big a fan, but I think he's great.
hmm
Love the bearded head. We're going to give him away in this episode. Make sure you are subscribed. That's the number one thing you got to do to win a giveaway from the Strong Collectors. Be
hmm
subscribed, and let's do a comment of what you're most excited for of the reveals other than the dragon, because I think the dragon is probably going to be overshadowing a lot of the
Right.
excitement. So I want to know, other than the dragon, it can be from the wave or it can be any of the other announcements that Four Horsemen did. What's your favorite from all of Mythic Weekend? So it could be
hmm
the new wave, it could be other announcements as well. So with that, Jordan, let's go ahead and cover the wave. We might save some of the other
hmm
stuff for another episode, but we can at least cover the wave because that's up for pre-order right now, and then it goes
hmm
until just after Christmas, which I think is pretty helpful for me because then I can use some of that Christmas money for my uh, pre-order. So we'll kind of go in maybe a reverse order here. So we'll start down here with the Golden Pride of Leandor.
hmm
I'm curious. I don't think you and I didn't really go through piece by piece on all these, so I'm curious to know what your
No,
thoughts are on these guys.
we did not. Yeah, I like the idea of it with like the animal style mask. I think is fun,
Hmm.
right? Because you kind of get like, obviously we have those animal motifs, but I think going more that route is cool. I I'm definitely like the yeah. I think the plume on the head is pretty sweet, and that's a nice shield.
Yeah, I think we've never seen this shield before. Most of the
hmm
other weapons are, I don't think they're out yet, but they're coming out in other waves.
hmm
I think that the head swap is pretty cool because you switch, kind of you see up in here,
hmm
um, the lion mask kind of pops out from the helmet, and then you
Right.
slide in the unmasked head, which is kind of cool. And then you
hmm
also have just the totally unhelmeted, unmasked head. The other crazy thing about this one, this isn't the first one that they announced, but this is their first wave doing double jointed knees and elbows.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
maybe see. No, yeah, it's pretty hard to see there. So yeah, here you can see the double
Okay.
elbows.
Whoa. I didn't notice
Uh,
that. That is
looks
huge.
looks pinless to me.
Yeah.
Same with the legs. This does change up the swappability just slightly. They
hmm
still will. You'll be able to swap off the arms at the arms, or you could also swap. I think below the arms, kind of at the kind of forearm area.
hmm
So obviously you can't do the like elbow swaps that you can with some of the other 1.0s, but still they wanted to keep all the
Yeah.
pop and swap ability in there.
hmm
There's also the boot cut down here that I can't remember if they said it was on Jacob Marley or some of the newer characters are going to have that like boot cut that you can swap off. Otherwise, you can swap the entire leg with other 1.0 figures, which is like your knights or skeletons are usually in that
hmm
1.0 scale, but
Yeah.
this is their 3.0 body. So it's a brand new articulation. And I think it hides really well because a lot of times the Mythic Legion collectors that really like the sculpt, because I think Mythic Legions does the sculpting the best out of anybody at this price point, like
Yeah.
hands down. Um, but they still hide that sculpt and articulation really well, where it
hmm
blends. Where I think, I can see that argument with like McFarlane's because McFarlane tends to like really like break up the sculpt with his articulation.
Mm-hmm.
This is very well hidden because, like
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, you didn't even know that it was double jointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what I'll probably ask you on each of them. You're probably going to pass on pretty much everything, Jordan. But the fans
Come on,
they
dude.
want me to keep pushing you into Legions.
I
Where does he
know. I
fall in your
know.
rank of like, oh, I could see this possibly maybe, but or is this like I don't really need the knights? Because I know there is some in this
Yeah,
wave that you do want. So
that's true. I might. We can continue to go through the
okay,
rest.
okay,
And I'll give you my top picks.
okay.
I'll
So
say
this one I think is probably your top pick, is my assumption. This is the
this one
first
is
one
more
that
my speed, I think.
okay.
Yes.
This was the first one they did with the double joints. The
Mm-hmm.
first reveal of the 3.0. So I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on him since. Oh, I guess I didn't really give my thoughts on the
Right.
last one. I like the last one.
Oh yeah.
Um, honestly,
You're
might
gonna
be my
like
least
all of
favorite in the wave though,
them. Okay.
but I definitely want him. So, all
Yeah.
right, now tell me about this guy, Jordan.
I mean, I like.
Mwindaji the
So my first
Cackler.
thought was wolf, but I'm guessing I was gathering it's more hyena. Is that
Yeah,
kind of more of the vibe? Okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's cool to see them moving into, well, your favorite, Dakota, these anthropomorphic
mm-hmm.
animal creatures,
Right.
which I think is pretty sweet actually, and adds like a new. I mean, it's a whole new element for. I mean, to have like in this style, I think is really cool. I, I like my monsters and wolves and other creepy things. So this one is probably one of the ones that I'm more interested out of
Okay,
out of this wave, I'll say.
that's kind of what I figured. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for 40 points of articulation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said this is their most articulated figure to date because of kind
Yeah.
of the extra like feet,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got even like a torso swivel, which usually
Right.
Mythic Legions don't have.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the alternate heads here? Because you've got the closed mouth and the
Mm-hmm.
open mouth opposed to
Right.
the articulated jaw.
Like a hinge on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think.
mean,
Go ahead.
no, yeah, I think it makes sense to do it as an alternate head because then you can kind of sculpt it more in that style.
Right.
I would say. I mean, I'm in favor of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like some people like the articulated jaw. I've never really been that big a fan of the articulated jaw, and I think
Mm-hmm.
with this especially, it makes so much more sense because, like he was saying, he wants more of that
Mm-hmm.
like the facial expression of an open
Right.
mouth, teeth bared
Well, yeah.
face.
I don't.
So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't mind like the skeletons,
Right. True.
doing that. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing something that obviously when someone, I think they remember them talking about that with the bear, like when it
Hmm.
opens its mouth, it changes like the shape of the face in a lot of
Right.
ways.
Yeah. So yeah,
So,
I think that's a smart idea, and it just kind of goes the extra mile to give you more than just here's one more point of articulation. It's like like they still care. I think more about the
hmm
sculpt and then articulation when they can.
yeah.
So I think that was cool to add an extra head in versus just the point of articulation.
hmm
Next, ooh, this guy might be my favorite of the wave. I love
Yeah.
my substantial characters. I like
Oh, I know.
the blue genie that they did in Poxus.
hmm
And now we get this one kind of just reminds me of Jafar from Aladdin.
Oh, when he goes all, yeah,
Yeah.
demon genie at the end. I like
But
it.
now we get the smoky base to come out of the lamp.
hmm
How does this rank in your interest, Jordan? I know you're happy that it's created,
Right.
but I
I
know
am
you're not
happy.
nearly as excited as I am.
I mean, yes, that is fair, Dakota. I do think, well, if you keep going through, didn't he have, can you go to his picture with his stuff? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool idea that he can switch to the legs or
Mm-hmm.
to the smoky
Yeah.
effect. I think that's nice. Gives you more options for sure, too.
Yeah.
Is the idea with that photo, like they set him there, it is not like connected to that lamp, is it? Or is it more like it's just kind of posed in a way
I
where
think
you
it's
can
just
set it?
like set
Right.
next to the lamp. I don't
That's
think
what I
it actually
thought.
connects.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's, I'd be curious, is that, I'm gathering from the photos, it's like it would be sort of translucent in a way,
Yeah, yeah,
that,
and
do you
it's
think?
also articulated too, which I don't know if you can
Okay.
really see. And I think maybe down here it's articulated. I can't remember exactly where they said it
Okay.
was movable. but it is movable somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is right up my alley, especially like the head. I love the red with kind of the chest and arm tattoos.
Right.
I like the smoke effect, but I think I would probably display him with the legs because it's similar to Calazir, and he's on the brute scale, so he's a little bit bigger than your standard Mythic Legion. So this is right up my alley. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, I
also
wonder what
like the
other
colors.
stuff you could do with the smoke. Could you start using that with like other?
True, because they did say they want to do, they want to make a blue one for the last Genie they did, Calazir, the blue one. But they were saying, or at least Jeremy was saying, it doesn't really make sense for them to just put out just the smoke effect because it then only goes with one figure. So they're going to find some other way to work that in. So you're going to get something else, whether it's maybe another blue Genie or something. So I am interested to see how else this is coming because it's coming again, they did say.
Right.
Moving on, we've got ARA the Talon Bearer. So I think this one was kind of funny because, you know, a lot of people have been asking for the dragon for so long, and then here we see this dragon type character behind her, and I was like, oh, what if that was the dragon? But you kind of know, Four Horsemen's not going to do that to you, where they give you a little tiny dragon. But I thought she looks pretty cool too. You're kind of more in the magic realm, Jordan.
That's true.
How does this tickle your fancies?
I mean, I definitely like the mini dragon that it comes with. I think that's a pretty cool, because that's all like one piece, isn't it? I don't think it moves, does it?
Yeah, it's articulated.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess
He's got points of articulation at like the head, his arms, the legs. You can see a break here in the. So yeah, he moves quite a bit, I think.
All right. Well, that's even cooler then.
And he comes with a flight stand.
Ooh, I do like that. There's some NECAs I have that have like Dracula came with like a bat and stuff that kind of is similar to that. You can put him on a little stand so he flies. So I thought the like dragon talon on the staff looked pretty cool, or claw, whatever you want to call it.
I really like the mask too. Like I kind of like that because they made a point of saying that she doesn't come with an alternate head. It's only the masked head to kind of keep that mystery. So I think that's and you can kind of see all the scales there too. I was saying that the one thing that maybe I don't like as much about her is she looks very Arazak to me, which is another character that came out in the Poxus wave. It's the same kind of chest overlay, but they were saying that they're kind of a part of, well, they are a part of the same faction. It's kind of a new faction they're filling out. But yeah, since they're kind of a part of the same like sect or whatever it is, it makes some more sense. So, I'll probably get her. And this isn't technically a dragon, they were saying too. It's a familiar. So I guess it just kind of changes shape to be whatever the companion choose. I don't know if it's like they choose, but it's like the creature chooses to be kind of what's in the companion.
Changes shape.
Right.
Okay.
So with Araya, you get a dragon. Moving on, we got the Snake Men, the Serpenspire, Serpenspire Royal. I always add an H in there, but some Snake Men. This seems a little bit more up your alley, a little bit more monstery.
Yeah, I do like. I think these would fit in because even in like the world of like Conan, they have a lot of those kind of more, just serpents and that kind of thing going on. So I like the less armored look, to be honest, for him. I know you might not, or other people might not, but I kind of like the simpler look for me. But I think those details are really cool on like the armor and how big the headpiece is and the tail. I mean, that looks sweet.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what else they do with that. Yeah, that's a cool figure. I'm interested to see. I think this, you can't really say anything for sure, but I would assume that this has got to be leading to maybe a Medusa figure obscura down the road. You're more of a figure obscura guy, Jordan. How does that?
That's true. I am.
Is that
Medusa would be cool.
Okay.
I'm big on the Greek mythology, that kind of stuff. So if we started heading in that direction,
I would be excited for Medusa too, I think. Everything you got coming with it. Like the two heads.
Two heads again, yeah.
It's pretty fun, like headdress.
Mm-hmm.
Colorful. We've gotten
Yeah.
this shield before, I think, in the dwarf set. I think this club
Mm-hmm.
piece is brand new. Yeah, that's kind of your Trevor shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Who we met in real life,
We did.
or at least I did for the first time.
Yeah. He
Sam did
watches
as
the
well.
show.
Gave him her compliments on his Frankenstein photos.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that looks sweet.
Sticking with the snake, we've got
Mm-hmm.
Basilia, which I kind of was thinking they would do, but I wasn't sure how they would do it. And I think this exceeds my expectations of what I was thinking they could do.
Yeah.
So, I'm a slut for wings, and
That's true.
these
You
wings
are.
look pretty sweet. Even the like feathers, these are the feathers that came with Monkey King, I think, or
Right.
at least, similar. Some of them are the same. I don't know if they're all the same,
Mm-hmm.
but those can port in or out, so you don't have to have it quite as ornate if you don't want it to be. Yeah. I in
Yeah.
person too, this looks almost like iridescent, translucent a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Got the kind of translucent snake going up the staff.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what they do with these wings too, because these wings aren't
Yeah, those aren't a one
articulated
and
like the other
done.
ones. Yeah, because the other ones they usually like fold in the middle, but these
Mm-hmm.
ones are just totally sculpted straight out to the tips. So
Right. There's got to be something else coming then.
right. And then as they were revealing this, you can kind of see that it's like, oh, obviously there's like another Snake Man here, and they reveal
Mm-hmm.
that next. But then this one over here, you think is the
Yeah.
same as this one up in the corner, but it's not. It's
Right.
another character that they put out kind of as their secret, like they did Valiant Knight last year. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Saving the best, in my opinion, for last.
Of course.
I
As soon
love.
as I saw this, dude, I knew
You
this
knew that
is
one had to
like your
come home to
dream
me.
come true.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's magnificent. I will say $80 is a little scary, but
Yeah.
I think that's completely worth it. And
Mm-hmm.
like all the details on his belt, like he's got all the
Oh
faction
yeah.
logos kind of worked into his armor.
Mm-hmm.
Soft goods cape.
I
Look at
mean,
the giant.
yeah, dude.
That's too
Come
cool.
on.
Get a snarly face in there too. What more do you want? Everything he comes with. So you can swap out his face plates. Kind of the same hammer that it looks the same as what came with the 2-pack
Mm-hmm.
Gorgo and Attila, but it's way bigger.
Right.
There's your Dio shot. And then also I was going to pull up on Facebook, they shared this picture. So you can kind of see
Wow.
the
Yeah.
scale for a standard size knight. So he's ogre scale, but in those other pictures, it's just him by himself. But here
Mm-hmm.
you get to see next to an actual knight. So he's a big
Quite
boy,
impressive.
approximately 9 inches tall. And then while we're on their Facebook, I'll pull up their
Mm-hmm.
reveal of the Ninian infantry. So like I said, this was
Mm-hmm.
kind of their reveal, sort of like they did Valiant Knight last year. So you get Snake Men in hand. This is,
Mm-hmm.
I think the new Snake Men they revealed are possibly all new parts, or at least like that bottom tail is obviously new. But this, I think the only new parts are the head and the tail. Everything else is
Mm-hmm.
reused from other characters, like the necklace is Monkey King. The body is the Thygar figure from Cosmic Legions, and I don't remember the armors from other places, but this was
Mm-hmm.
a pretty cool figure. They did say this is going to come out later, I think like early next year sometime.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do an in-store or like an in-stock sale of him. What was your thoughts on seeing this guy, Jordan? Because he was sold out by the time you
Yeah,
got there.
indeed he was. So I missed out. I mean, yeah, I think like I said, I like the Snake Man. I like the idea of having. To me, it's always fun having like one or two. And that's kind of why I like my skeleton army guys, is you can have
Hmm.
like two or so that are fighting somebody. So I think with the army building type for the snake guys, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, how do you like, which would you prefer? Do you like the legs on this snake guy, or do you like the more snake tail on the other ones?
That's a good question. I mean, I do think the snake tail looks pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Hmm.
So I'm almost inclined, yeah, I think to go with the snake tail
Okay.
myself. But it could be fun to have some variety with
Yeah.
them, right?
They were saying that these are kind of the younger, less experienced of the group, and then as you grow and like gain experience and intelligence, then you kind of shed your legs and just have the full
Ooh,
on tail. So
I like that.
I think I personally kind of like the legs better just because it makes it a little bit
Yeah,
more anthropomorphic to me.
yeah,
But
I
also,
get you.
I think the colors here, like the black and red, is
Mm-hmm.
also hard to argue. I like that color scheme better than the other
Right,
ones too. Um, also, I have something else. Oh yeah, the dragon.
of course.
So they pull out the dragon, very last reveal of the
Right.
day. They've been saying it's got to be a 3 foot dragon,
Mm-hmm.
and when you include the flame effects and the tail,
Yeah,
you get almost a 6 foot long dragon.
yeah.
I mean, we saw this in person. We've got pictures
Mm-hmm.
of me and Savannah looking at it through the case from Elijah, who was super cool dude. But
Right.
what did you think of the dragon, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I think even seeing the photos beforehand, like you can see those measurements, but it really doesn't quite put it into scale for me
Hmm.
because I was like, I just can't imagine. So, yeah, seeing it in person, I mean, I think it looks even cooler. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, that like that picture, I'm almost like, how can it be that huge?
Right.
And then we saw it. Um, so yeah, I think it's really cool, man. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously we don't know yet the price, right? We're
Yeah.
still kind of waiting on that. But I mean, whether you were doing this with legions or even like, I think you could just do this with like your legends and stuff too.
Hmm.
I mean, because I think it works enough as just a general dragon. You could put it
Right.
in other settings, or just have it alone. Because
Yeah.
yeah, that is
I mean,
quite
like
substantial in a word,
I usually say I don't collect the horses because I don't have room for the horses, and then
right?
you see the horse next to this dragon.
You're
So
like, yeah,
I, I
mm-hmm,
I would be shocked if either of us purchased this because
mm-hmm,
we just don't have the space for it. But I that doesn't mean that I don't want the dragon
right,
because I mean
yes,
this is the standard dragon. They're going to do this kind of crowdfund HasLab style. Again, don't know the price
mm-hmm,
yet, but they're going to do like add-ons as like stretch goals. So maybe that would
mm-hmm,
be a saddle, the extra like the flame effect, the extra head, the stretched out wings.
mm-hmm,
That's all an additional add-on.
yeah.
So what is your thoughts on the price, Jordan?
Oh, I mean, I think you at least would have. I think at least like is 300 way too low to say at least, or is that
I think 300 would be pretty hopeful for the like standard dragon.
yeah? What do you mean?
Like cuz like I said, this is your standard and then this is an additional like add-on.
Oh, okay. So you would pay extra to get the flame effect.
Right.
Okay.
Like I would assume the
Yeah.
extra flame head and wings would be another $100 maybe.
Right. So you think like 400?
All in, I think 400 would be pretty fair. I think
Yeah,
I
I
would
think so
expect more like
too.
500 all in would
Yeah.
probably be pretty reasonable for them to do
Yeah.
because it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, I think it definitely would be worth it for the value of what you're
Right.
getting there because that's a huge figure. You're right. 300's a little crazy. Maybe I'm
Or I mean,
just
yeah, you just bought
hoping for you, Dakota, that it'll be
yeah.
300 and then you can.
I mean, I think when you compare that, like you compare the Giant Man that you just got from Hasbro, and you compare
Yeah.
this, like this to me blows Giant Man out of the water. Even
Yeah.
like it's way bigger and it's so
Hmm.
much more detail. Like all the it's
Right.
hand sculpted scales and everything. Like
Yeah.
there's so much more detail put into this.
Hmm.
So again, probably not making its way into my collection, but it's
Mm-hmm.
as articulated as it is. I'm excited to see where it is. If this was $200, I'd probably have to buy it, but thankfully I don't think that's going to be an issue.
So you are saved from that.
I'm saved from having to spend money on a
Mark's safe
dragon.
from, yeah.
But I think this is going to bring in a lot more people than just Legion fans because, like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
it fits with your Marvel Legends. It would fit with your like other 1/12. You could even go bigger too. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be 1/12 because it's such a big dragon. But
That's true.
I could see some GI Joes fighting the dragon. I could see putting some Mezcos in with it.
Oh, that would be fun, actually. That's a good
Yeah.
call.
So you get your Doc Knock and
I was gonna
Atticus
say, I'm a
Doom.
Doc Knock and Atticus Doom doing some battle with the dragon. Don't
Yeah.
tempt me.
So we'll do some more deep dives on this when it comes out. Once we know kind of the prices, the stretch goals, all that. That's going to be probably January or February. They said they still got to work out some of the details. They're trying to make it as budget friendly as they can with whether it's going to be rotocast or injected molded. Because if the whole thing was injected, it'd probably be like a 45-pound dragon. Because I know some people complain about like Blob or Mojo from Hasbro Marvel Legends. They're like, oh, it's hollow, it's not nearly as cool. But like this thing, you kind of need parts of it to be hollowed out. Otherwise,
it'll be
your average collector is going to really have a good workout to try to put that on their shelf. And if that comes off your shelf, it's not only going to break the figure, but probably going to smash your floor. So anything on its way down would be destroyed. So back to the wave, Jordan. What's calling your name?
So yeah, I think my tops. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with whatever the snake guy's called. I do like the snake. I think
the
snake
Royal
with
Guard.
The tail. Yes,
Okay.
the Royal Guard one. I'd also cast a bead on the hyena guy's cool.
Yep.
I like the hyena. And if I were to go with a third Dakota, I think the Genie has some fun.
Really? Okay.
Fun implications too.
Nice. I thought you would have picked the Talon Bearer to get the dragon, but
I think I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the Genie because I think the smoke is cool. I think that would add some kind of fun elements. But what are you, Dakota? If you had to go with three,
for sure, Leodicius.
Of course,
he's number one,
right?
And then right on his heels, I don't remember what the Genie's name is.
Jafar.
And then it's a little bit more challenging. I think I'd have to go Basilia just on how important she is to the story. Because I definitely want to have all three of the kind of main beasts, or all four of the main beasts, because they're going to do the other two down the road. They've done them before, but they're super expensive and hard to find now. They're coming out with version 2s probably next year. So I'd say her just because of the story. But I think the Golden Pride of Leandor would also be really cool just because, you get your hands on the new articulation. I really like the metal lion mask because that'd also go with what's her name? One of the other female characters has a similar lion mask like that, so it'd be cool to pair them up together. So
yeah,
I'm going Leodicius, Genie, and Basilia. But when this came out, Savannah saw him. I was kind of like, "Ooh, look at the character." She was like, "Oh, this is like right up your alley. You got to go all in." And I said, I'm not going to fight you on that. So I think I might just be going all the way in on this one, Jordan.
I might just have to at that point then.
Be irresponsible.
Can't argue with that. Right, exactly.
So that is everything of the new wave and the dragon revealed from Mythic Legions. Make sure that you are leaving a comment of what you're most excited for to win Iligar, and then we'll do that drawing probably in a couple weeks, and I'll get that sent out to you, if not before Christmas, around Christmas. So make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, stay strong.